Hey everybody, welcome back to Spirit and Truth Yoga, the place that you can bring God onto your mat. Today we are focusing on flow. For me recently, I feel like every plan that I make gets changed and I've had to really roll with the flow. So I thought that we could incorporate that concept into our practice today, understanding that the Spirit moves us along where we need to go. Sometimes we don't understand why, but helping us to be flexible can help us to stay in step with God and His Spirit. So find your mat and let's get started. So as we get started here in our grounding posture, you can start in child's pose, or if you want to join me in crocodile pose, really want to start our practice today focusing on our breath. So crocodile, you're all the way down on your belly, making a pillow with your arms, resting your forehead on that pillow on your forearms, allowing your ankles to fall away or they can stay together, but really connecting with your breath here, taking deep inhales and exhales. In yoga, we like to cut off mouth breathing if possible, breathing in and out of your nose, connecting with that belly breathing with your inhale, seeing if you can fill up your lungs so that your diaphragm expands, pressing against your mat, and exhaling fully all of that stale air and really connecting with that sound. Focusing on maybe the sound of the wind, or imagining with that sound the waves coming in and out. Seeing if you can elongate that breath, sinking heavier into your mat, becoming fluid, letting go of all the stress. Noticing any points of tension. Maybe you're holding your shoulders up. Maybe you can walk your elbows out a little further. Seeing if you can just let go here, allowing the ground, your mat to support you. Coming into a full present state of mind, just here on your mat, trying to let go of what lies ahead, what came earlier in your day. Continuing with your breath, drawing our minds to our passage today. In John 3, verse 8, Jesus says, "The wind blows wherever it pleases. You hear its sounds, but you cannot tell where it comes from or where it is going. So it is with everyone born of the Spirit." Embracing that concept here on your mat of the wind blowing you, of the Spirit taking you wherever you need to go. Letting go of your plans, embracing that following attitude, surrendered and submissive, just going with the flow. Coming into half frog pose, leaving your forehead on your forearms. If you are in child's pose, you can join us here in crocodile pose. Drawing your right knee up to hip height, dragging it along the floor next to your mat. Bringing a flex to your foot. Sending your breath to your right hip, opening it up. Bringing that breath here into this pose. On exhale, pressing your right ankle down. Inhale, drawing left ankle up about hip height. Encouraging your hip to draw towards the mat here in half frog. Sending your breath there, encouraging your body to just release, allowing gravity to open up your left hip, falling heavy into your mat. Once again, connecting with that sound of your breath. Imagining the breeze blowing through a field, the waves crashing on the beach. And on an exhale, pressing down through your left ankle, bringing your legs to meet and finding your way into child's pose. I want to encourage you to find a knees together child's pose. Walking your fingertips out. Breathing here. Allowing your heart to draw towards the mat. Forehead falls heavy. Pressing through your palms, shifting your weight forward, coming up into a cobra, gentle cobra pose, allowing your hips to draw towards the mat. Really taking a rich inhale here. And exhaling, shifting your hips back, going back into a child's pose. Pausing here, exhaling. On an inhale, shifting back up. Once again, we're focusing on flow, so we're going to be moving a lot today from pose to pose, but nice and gently. Inhaling nice and tall, reaching through the crown of your head, finding length in your neck. And on an exhale, shifting back into child's pose. Following your breath, you can stay in either pose for as long as you like, but shifting from one to the other. Once again, drawing your mind, trying to find peace and stillness in this movement. Understanding that even though you're rolling from one thing to the next, you can still find a calm and quiet spirit. Sometimes the uncertainty of what's coming next can cause us a lot of anxiety. Just trying to be present. And rolling with the flow. On your next child's pose, pausing there. Falling heavy. Extending your arms, maybe walking your fingertips out. Really opening up your underarms. Then walking your fingertips back, leaving your forehead on the mat and resting heavy on your legs. Bring your arms alongside so that your palms are facing up alongside of your legs. And then just bring a little bit of a shift, like a wave. And even imagine the breeze or the water sort of brushing you from side to side. Whatever element is sort of residing with you today, like wind or water. Just finding again that flow, that movement, allowing it to be soothing. Knowing that God's got you. Movement doesn't have to be a scary thing. Be restorative and even restful. So shifting your weight from shin to shin, rolling just gently on your forehead. And finding your way back to center. Walking your fingertips up so that they come underneath your shoulders in tabletop pose. And then just shifting your hips from side to side, glancing back at your ankle. So opening up through your side body, warming up your side body. We're going to do a lot of side body twists and stretches today. So shifting your shoulders, waking up those hips. And then when you're ready, finding your way back to center and making your way into your first downward dog. Flipping your toes. You can find stillness, maybe slowly bringing some movement, encouraging your ankles to find their way closer to the mat. And then just rest heavy. Downward dog's supposed to be a restorative pose. So seeing if you can take the work out of it and just being still for a moment. Connecting with your breath. Allowing your mind to focus on the sound of your breathing. Being a gentle observer to your body, whatever sensations that you're feeling. You can stay here or join me in the three-legged dog, pointing your right toes towards the sky. And stepping that foot to the outer edge of your right hand, coming into lizard pose, dropping your left knee. You can stay here up on top, or you can find your way down, both elbows to the mat, one elbow to the mat. If you have a blanket nearby, you can rest your elbows on that blanket if you need a little bit more height. Drawing open through your right knee, encouraging it to fall away from the mat. Breathing here, sending your breath to your right hip. Finding your way back to your palms from wherever you were. Walking your fingertips back, we're going to take a half split. So coming down heavy on your right heel so that it's sort of dragging on your mat, pulling back through your hips. Allowing your head to hang heavy. You can rest lightly on your feet. Once again, breathing here. Walking your fingertips back up so that you can make your way back to a downward dog, flipping your back toes and stepping your feet together, shifting up into a downward dog. Stepping up to the front of your mat. I'm going to do our first half sun salutation, hanging heavy here. Inhale, coming up halfway with a nice flat back. Exhaling to fold. Exhaling to rise. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Keep going with that flow. Inhaling, rise. Exhaling, fold. Inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Taking up lots of space as if you're trying to grab the sun. Exhaling, hands to prayer. Keep going. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, taking up lots of space. A lot of times for us meditating, exhaling, hands to prayer, we can find stillness by tying movement to our breath. So if you struggle with anxiety, try a sun salutation like this. Inhale, rising up. Exhaling to fold. It can occupy our minds, helping us to find stillness. Inhale, rise up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to prayer. Keep going. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up halfway with a flat back. Exhale, fold. Framing your feet with your hands, step or jump back to plank. Hanging here for a second. Inhaling here, drawing your navel up towards your spine. And exhaling to lower all the way down. Bring your elbows beneath your shoulders, taking Sphinx pose. Really lifting through the crown of your head. Closing your eyes here for a second. Drawing your mind back to your breath, back to your intention. One of my favorite scriptures is in Galatians 5, 3 different times in the area of verse 16. The author talks about walking by the Spirit, being led by the Spirit, and keeping in step with the Spirit. Those 3 actions that we can take with the Spirit: walking, being led, being in step. All takes a fluidity of life, being able to go with the flow, follow its lead, listening. And flexibility. So maybe you can just release, finding yourself ready to listen here on your mat. Exhaling, lowering all the way back down, bringing your hands beneath your shoulders and finding your way back to your downward dog, pushing up through plank. Once again, maybe make a little adjustment, closing your hip angle, opening your elbows to face the front of your mat, but then hanging heavy. This time pointing your left toes to the sky. Taking a 3-legged dog on this side. You can always just stay in a traditional downward dog if this is too much for you. Stepping your left foot to the outer edge of your left hand, preparing to take lizard on this side. Dropping your right knee, coming to the top of your right foot, and lowering down through one or both elbows, or just staying up on your palms. Settling in, falling heavy. Again, you can use a blanket if you need some more to bring the mat up to you, basically, to rest your elbows on. Breathing here. Opening up through that left knee. Sending your breath to your left hip. Just releasing. Oftentimes we can't go with the flow because we're too tense. So this is a great pose. So release some tension in your hips. Trying to just melt. Stop fighting the world. Find your way back to your palms. Walk your hands back towards your hips, dragging through your left heel and pulling back your hips towards the back of your mat. Hinging at your hips, really leading with your heart here, trying to take some of that arch out of your back. Once again, you're sort of dragging back away from your ankle. You'll really feel it opening up all through the back of your left thigh. Shifting your weight back forward and finding your way to the front of your mat. So stepping up, flipping your back toes so that you can step up into a forward fold. Head hangs heavy. Just take a breath or two here. You can shift your weight. You can grab opposite elbows. We're only going to stay here for a second. But releasing some of that energy in your hips that you opened up, allowing it to flow out. Inhale, coming up halfway with a flat back. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling to rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, coming up halfway. Exhale, fold. This time, frame your feet. Step back with your left foot. We're going to take a low lunge here. We're going to be here for a minute, so you don't want to make it too extreme on yourself. But come to the top of your left foot. Find your anchor, really root down. You can leave your fingertips here or take whatever hand position best serves you. Close your eyes if you're able. Lift tall through the crown of your head. Draw your core back. And really shifting your weight through your hips to the front of your mat. Connect with your breath. Find stillness and a listening heart. Maybe even taking a second to pray. A one-sentence prayer to God. Bringing hands to heart center. If you want to add a twist, shift your weight through your heart a little bit forward and bring your left elbow to your right knee. If you're able to, place it on the outside of your knee, giving you some leverage. Gazing at the side wall or the space behind you. Unwinding, finding your way back to center. Taking a little bit of a counter twist here by releasing your right hand to the mat and opening up through your left fingertips, reaching toward the ceiling. Releasing that hand down, framing your feet, flipping your toes, and stepping back into a plank. A couple breaths here. Encouraging your heels to draw towards the mat, drawing up through your core, lifting your hips. Just slightly. You want a flat back, but you don't want your hips to sag. Under control, lowering down. You can go back to Sphinx, or if you want to try Cobra, here arms are extended, but palms are underneath your shoulders versus elbows underneath your shoulders if you're looking for a little more. I'm doing up dog because my hips are off of the mat. Then flipping your toes, lowering down if needed. Finding your way to your downward dog. Once again, checking in here. Taking the same low lunge as we did on the opposite side, stepping up with your left foot. Dropping your right knee, coming to the top of your right foot. Finding whatever hand position you took on the other side. If your palms are on the mat, that's great. Hands extended or at heart center. Whatever is best for you and your practice. Adding that twist if you took it on the opposite side, drawing right elbow to left knee. And your way back to center. Adding the counter twist. Releasing left palm to the mat, reaching right fingertips to the sky. And releasing that hand down. Framing your foot and stepping back into your downward dog. Coming back to downward dog here. This is your last downward dog, just checking in. Making one minor adjustment, seeing if you can come into a little bit of a fuller version of your expression. And when you're ready, walking your hands to your feet so that you find your way at the back of your mat. Hanging heavy here. And slowly, one vertebrae at a time, dragging your fingertips along your toes, the tops of your feet, your shins, just taking a little bit of time to notice and draw attention to each part of the body, allowing your head to hang heavy, stacking one vertebrae at a time, leaving your head hang heavy as you roll your shoulders up and back. And lastly, inhaling, lifting your chin, lifting through the crown of your head. We're going to come into stork pose. So stork pose, you will inhale your arms up and at the same time shifting your weight to your right foot, bringing your left foot off the mat at a 90-degree angle. If this is enough for you today, stay here. If you want to add a little bit more of a balanced flow, step forward with your left foot, coming into warrior 3. You're going to send your arms and your right foot behind you. If you stayed in stork, just coming out of it, we're going to shift from here into stork on the opposite side, just swinging that right foot through. Finding a focal point or a drishti to focus on connecting with your breath. A lot of times in balance pose, we sort of fight. The more you can release and relax, you'll actually find more stability. Once again, stepping through with your right foot, stepping up and forward and shifting your weight back to fly. Here in warrior 3. Beautiful, strong, balanced, and fluid. Left foot meets right. Bringing hands to standing prayer. Just checking in one more time before we find our way to our mats. Drawing shoulders down, crown of the head lifts. Fluttering eyes open, making your way to your mat. Just a quick spinal twist here. Find your way on your back. Allow your knees to fall to the right side of your mat. If you want a little bit more, bring your left knee over your right before shifting your knees to the right side of your mat and bring your gaze over your left shoulder. If you need a little bit more resistance, you can bring your arms up overhead and goalpost arms are extended out. Finding your way back to center, unwinding and doing the same on the opposite side. If you cross your legs, bringing your right leg over left, allowing your knees to shift to the left side of your mat and gazing out over your right. This helps to wring out all those toxins in our digestive system. Everything our body's trying to purify. Find your way back to center. We'll just do one quick bridge pose. Bring your feet together. Bringing your palms this time on the side of your body. Face down on the mat, pressing down through your palms, peeling your hips up off the mat. Your weight will shift towards your shoulders. Keeping the weight out of your neck. Noticing as the blood flow shifts. Bring all of that energy, oxygen of your practice to your brain, waking it up for an alert and conscious state of relaxation in our Shavasana. On an exhale, lowering all the way down. placing each vertebrae one at a time on the mat and extending your legs for our Shavasana practice, taking just a couple moments here in Shavasana to allow yourself to be completely still. Trying to keep your mind focused on this moment, not what lies ahead. Giving yourself permission to be here fully. As you continue in your Shavasana, just wanted to read you our theme passage in John 3:8. The wind blows wherever it pleases. You hear its sound, but you cannot tell where it comes from or where it is going. So it is with everyone born of the Spirit. Meditating on any sort of thoughts or emotions that might bring up in you, positive or negative. Understanding the truth of God's Spirit is that it is fluid, calling us to flow along with it, staying in step, being led by it and walking with it. Taking 3 more rounds of breath in your Shavasana. Focusing on the rise and the fall of your chest and abdomen with each breath and each exhale. Wiggling fingers and toes to bring a little bit of movement back into your body, awakening it for the rest of your day. When you're ready, finding your way to one side, rolling, bringing knees towards chest, maybe making a pillow with your arms, taking just one more moment for yourself. Staying there as long as you like. When you're ready, joining me in a seated position with eyes closed to close out our practice with a brief meditation. As we focus today on not necessarily knowing where the Spirit is leading us or taking us, just wanted to close us out with meditating on God's promise in Jeremiah 29:11. Remembering God's promise there that He knows the plans He has for us, not to harm us, but to prosper us, to give us a hope and a future. Knowing that wherever God is leading you, it's for your good, your benefit, and finding peace in that. Taking a few moments to focus, meditating on that or praying about that to yourself. Taking one last deep cleansing breath. Bringing hands to heart center as you flutter your eyes open. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that this helps you to be a little bit more in step with God's Spirit in whatever way that He is leading you, and wherever He is leading you, I know that in the end it will be to good things. Spirit and Truth Yoga is from John 3, where Jesus says true worshipers must worship Him in spirit and in truth. I hope that your yoga practice today helps you to do that. And until next time, namaste.